think it's time we blow this thing. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Welcome back to the Hypothetically podcast. This is episode 3. And we're back once again, obviously. It is take 2. I'm not going to lie. It is take 2 of the Hypothetically podcast. I fucked up. Accidentally forgot our mics were not on. And I'm stupid. But yeah. It is currently 10:29 p.m., so we have to get this out tonight. We're gonna start fast. We're gonna get this banging. So our 3 topics for today, which are bangers, by the way, because these topics are they're goated, right? So it's the first one is ego, positives and negatives, right? So the positive and negative of ego, what's good, what's bad, obviously. Daily routines, big one. Adequate sleep, which above will be explaining towards the end of the video, because sleeping is a huge part of the game, and bad sleep equals bad performance. So keep that in mind. Daily routines, once again, important. If you're, it's like, it is literally when you wake up, what do you do in your day that's going to set you up for success throughout the rest of your day? That's daily routines, right? And then ego, which we're going to be doing right now. So before you skip onto your daily routines, because you may not think you have an ego, let me tell you something. You might have an ego, so you probably want to listen, and you might not. And you might have a small ego, meaning you're not confident with yourself, so you might want to listen to that segment. But for now, we're going to talk about big egos. So these are the people who are 80% of West Open players, right? Who are the people who are extremely toxic, and the people who are extremely toxic to basically everybody who's not either good or who is better than
not
them.
able to shit on them in the fucking
Right.
creative Zone Wars tournaments.
Right. So this is your big ego players. This is what's holding you back, right? So let's be honest. There's not a lot of people up there who are pro players who have big egos. You can name a few off the top of my head, or I can name one off the top of my head, which is Clicks. But we'll talk about Clicks later. But I'm telling you now, if you have an ego, let me give you an example. If you may not think you don't have an ego, so you're in an arena, or maybe you're in a creative game, and somebody shits on you, and they're like, "Yo, get shit on, bro," or maybe you shit on them, and you're open mic, holding tea down, push to talk, and you're saying, "Yo, you suck, bro," and like you're so bad, and like you're just flaming them. You're literally flaming them. You're BMing them. You're making fun of them, and that's all in good giggles if he's your homie. But if this is some random guy that you're 1v1ing, there's no point for that, right? It's kind of like if I went into an elementary school. And keep in mind, I'm a junior for high school, and I went into elementary school, and I flamed all these little children for not knowing what 2 times 2 is, who are like in 3rd and 4th grade, right? They don't know what 2 times 2 is, right? You're literally flaming somebody who doesn't know something
That
you know what I mean? Like, you basically get the point, right? So you're coming into this box fight 1v1, and you're far better than this player, and you're like, dude, you're so fucking bad, right? Which it's just. It's just stupid, honestly. It's just dumb. So don't do that. There's no point for that, right? So that's another example of egos. The people who are toxic. Once again, an arena. This one's in the medium of ego. I know this guy. His name starts with an M. He knows exactly who he is. He'll know exactly who he is. But basically, this guy goes into games and he has somewhat of an ego. He doesn't think he don't, but he does. At the end of the day, he does. Everybody kind of has an ego. I kind of have an ego. It's everybody words it differently in the way they talk, right? So for this guy in particular, he goes into arena games, and whenever he dies, he's like, dude, this kid's so freaking bad, man. He always says that. It's like, if they're so bad, how did you die to him, right? And that's what above here says always to this guy, and he's like, dude, he just sucks. If I got him in a creative, he would lose, right? But that's the key word there, in a creative. You lost in game.
Right.
So That's the big concern there. That's what we're looking for. We want you to deflate your ego, and it's not like ego's a bad thing. There's positives of ego, right? There's more little few positives than there are negatives. 100%, right?
And
So
it's
the
hard
positives-
it's hard if you have a big ego. It's really hard to be able to get yourself to have that small ego and benefit from the positives than it is if you have a small ego. You know, if you already have that small ego and you have that, oh, I'm not so good at the game, but I shit on that kid, good for me. And then you're hyping yourself up like Clicks does. You know, you're hyping yourself up. You're like, let's go. I just shit on that kid. You know, you're a momentum player, right? That's how I would describe it, a momentum player. You are able to hype yourself up, and when you can do that effectively, it's such a benefit. But the problem is everyone eventually will inflate their ego to the point where then they have the big ego and the bad ego, you know? And once you're at that point, you're just A, you're not gonna improve, or B, you're just gonna fucking tilt off the face of the world every time you try to play a game, because you're gonna get fucking lasered and you're gonna be like, oh my god, that kid's so fucking bad. Oh my god, that kid's so shit. He's probably on a fucking controller. Holy shit, he's so bad. He ran in my box. You know, you're gonna fucking get mad at shit like that. That doesn't matter.
Because there's ways around it. And if you're like, no,
Right.
there's no way around, control players are broken, homie. You look at the top 50 players who are in like DreamHack placements or FNCS placements. None of them are controller players. Like, I mean, not none of them, but most of the keyboard to controller ratio. There's like 45 keyboard players and maybe 5 controller players. So if you're complaining for the wrong reasons, man. Like, and there is no point to complaining. There's always a way around the obstacle. Even in RNG, in a game that's so heavy in RNG in Fortnite, you can get around that. Obviously, because like 9 out of 10 games you're going to get around it. There's obviously, even pros have those bad RNG games where Storm pulls all the way. They get a gray R off spawn. They're low shield. They get nothing in their drops, their POI. And, you know, those games are like that. But that's if they get absolutely nothing. Some games they get a blue tack. You wonder how they always get such good loot. Just watch their VODs. Go VOD review their games. See how they get the good loot, right?
They're super efficient with their looting, and even regardless if they get good loot or not, they've played scrims in fucking at the pro level for what 6-7 months, most of them a year, and that's every day for like 3 to 4 hours. So you think they don't know how to play every goddamn situation they're put in? You're just wrong. That's why they're so consistent at placing. That's why they're so much better than you, because
Right.
they're so consistent and they're so good at playing every goddamn situation, because they've played it 1,000,000,001 fucking times, and they
Not
know what to
because
do
they
every
played
time.
creative. Not
Exactly.
because they played a shitload of scrims. Stop playing
Right.
creative. It's ridiculous. There's a ton of West Open players. You're big egos. You're playing creative. You're playing box fights. You're looking like I see it all the time. The one looking for box fight 1v1. It's blown up. That's the only thing I see. Right. So if creative is its own game. You can label creative as a completely different game from Save the World and Battle Royale. 100%. Right. So if creative is a good part of the game, it is a good and an important aspect to build your and hone your mechanics and build your consistency, but do not use
Really
it.
good warm up.
And so, yeah, it's a really good warm-up. Do not use it to only play creative. You want to get good at the game, you have to play the game. Now I feel like we're having deja vu because I think we caught up to our cut scene because our mics were doing bad, right?
Yeah.
So now we're going to talk about small egos because we talked about big egos. So moral of the story for big ego players is drop the ego. It's not going to help you in the long run at all. Because I gave you the analogies, I gave you the examples. All you got to do is just start minimalizing your ego heavy responses, right? So those things
But
are
remember, man, it takes time. It takes time to drop your ego. So
100%.
don't expect to go into one game and be like, all right, it's fine that I died there, and then expect that, oh, I have no ego now. You know, don't expect that to happen. It's gonna be probably at least a week before you really see the benefits of dropping your ego, and you really start to be a positive mental. And you're gonna improve a lot more if you have a positive mental. By the way, that's just statistically proven.
And Above's living proof, man. He used to have a very big ego and a very what is it the loser mentality is what I would call it. It's how I describe it, where you just
hate
every
winning
time you
too.
would die,
Yeah, the
you
hate
blame it
losing
on
too.
something besides yourself.
Yeah. Well, then you always got to realize at the end of the day, if you died, you made so many mistakes that led to your death. So there's always something to learn. You know, even if you lost the game, if you know, maybe you choked off money in a tournament. This is for the better players, but maybe you choked off money in a tournament. There's something to learn. Did you get nervous? If you got nervous, check out my video now, not to get nervous in tournaments. But if you got nervous, you know, maybe figure out why you got nervous. So you're not playing every situation a billion times. Play more scrims, that kind of thing, you know. But
You're
anyway,
dying off POI.
onto the small
Practice your
ego.
POI more, right? Look for better drop
True.
spots. Look for better consistency. See what the problem is. And that comes by just playing the game. You have to play the
Right.
game. And yeah, that's what. And that I see. I'm pretty sure that wraps it up for you big ego players. Now we're gonna go on to small ego players, and this goes into saying where if you have a small ego, and you probably don't know what this is, it's the I hate myself, or you downplay yourself. Like, man, I should have killed that guy. Like, where you're just super nervous all the time about scrims. You're super like not confident in your gameplay, and you could like you're really really good and creative, and then you hop into a tournament, you do absolutely horrible because you're not performing like you would. Like, how could I be so good at creative and be so good at like PGs and shit, but then when I try to play the game, I just suck at it, right? And it mostly may come from a confidence issue, right? So just being confident in yourself and confident as a player. I had a friend who suffers with this. He probably knows who he is. He's a much more confident player than when he was. And the way he got out of his uncomfortability to play tournaments is being uncomfortable. Believe it or not. Like, if you put yourself in uncomfortable situations, you will be successful, right, in the long run. Because the more uncomfortable you are, the more you're teaching yourself to learn things, not learn things better, but learn new things, obviously. So when you're playing a million tournaments and you're comfortable and you're uncomfortable playing all those tournaments, keep playing them. That's all it comes with with experience and with time and effort. And there's little methods that you can use to shrink this time, this long effort that you have to do to inflate your ego to an extent where it's helpful to you in your gameplay, right? So you are a confident player. There's nothing wrong with your ego. That's probably the medium is where you want to be for ego, right? And this is probably my best advice. So every time you hop into a tournament, throw it, toss the tournament. Not every time, but in the beginning stages, if you are starting to play tournaments or you are getting nervous in tournaments, don't go in this. The reason why you may be getting nervous in tournaments in the first place is because you're thinking it's a tournament. Believe it or not, when you go into a tournament, you're like, oh my God, this is a tournament. I can win some money. Like, this is stressful. Like, these games are so intense. Like, these players are so good. Like, all those things. Most people who have small egos are overthinkers. People who think so much that they psych themselves out. Like, dude, calm down. You're playing a video game. For one, it's just a game, right? So you're there to enjoy it. And two, toss your tournament, because that makes you like. There's a study that they did for people who were nervous at like a doctor's office, or people who were nervous asking a girl out. What they did is they played the scene out in their head. They're like, hey man, can you pretend you're the girl, right? And they basically made fun of it. They made fun of a serious scenario. And it got them to be more comfortable in that situation because they made fun of it, right? So that's my battle tactic, right? So whenever you're in an uncomfortable situation in scrims and you feel nervous and you get anxiety and you start shaking, just toss it. I'm gonna hop into this kid's box. Like, pretend you're playing arena. It's really funny, and it lets you know that you're human, right? So everybody has problems. Like, no guy who's going to go play a major tournament for $1 million is going to be sitting there cold stone Steve Austin and not shake in that tournament. They're going to fucking get nervous. It happens, man. It's a normal thing to get nervous in the game. So just don't let it control you. Do not let it control you. It can become a big thing, right? So when I used to play CSGO and I used to be in 1v3 clutches and I'd kill 2 guys, it's down to a 1v1. You should see me, dude. I'm shaking, like you can just see my crosshair just moving back and forth. Like, I used to get so nervous, but guess what happened? I played the scenario and I played 1v3 so much that every time I got 1v3s, I was like, dude, that is the best feeling in the world whenever I clutched up a 1v3. But I built that dexterity to be uncomfortable and put myself in those scenarios, right? So that's the example for that's all you small ego. That's what we classify it as. But it's really just not confident players. So that's what we would call small ego players. And I think that wraps up that topic. We talked about the negatives, the positives, and to wrap it up with small egos, just enjoy the game. Enjoy the game. Don't be nervous. And now we're going to talk about daily routines. This is a big one. So daily routines are huge. So if this is your daily routine, if you skipped here, go back over ego. But daily routines are the steamroll. Daily routines are the fuel, the gasoline, the coal for the train, the gasoline for the car. It's what's going to start your engine and get you steamrolling to have a successful day. That is the daily routine. It doesn't even have to be game related. It could be when you wake up, take a shower, brush your teeth, do your hair, and work out, hit the weight set, or exercise, jog, whatever it is. Right? That's what's gonna boost your mentality, boost your physical appearance, boost your mindset. It's boosting everything. It's the steamroll for the day. People meditate in the morning. Trust me, meditate. Try it. Just try it.
Oh
Look
my
up a video
God,
on
that
it.
shit works. By the
It
way.
works.
It works
Both of us have
crazy well.
meditated. It puts you in a state of focus that is unbreakable. Like you have you set your 3 goals for the day. You set 3 things, you appreciate 3 things that you did yesterday, and you don't stop. You get those 3 things done, whatever they are. You get them done, and there's nothing stopping you from it. So try meditating. Just try it. Just an example. Just throwing it out there. You don't have to if you don't want to. It's a part of daily routines. Everybody's daily routine is different, but
Right.
so this would be an example start day for a daily routine, and the reason, and so no, we're not even going to talk about, because okay, so we could classify this as Fortnite or Valorant daily routines, but we could also classify this as physical daily routines. So, Above, what do you think? You want to tackle both routines, or do you just want to tackle?
We could do both in a short little session. So, I
100%.
mean, the first thing that I would say for a daily routine, you wake up, right? What do you do? What do you do? What do most people do when they wake up? They get on their phones for 20 minutes. They're sitting there on their phones, scrolling through fucking Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch. They beat their dick, whatever, right? But what I do when I wake up is I get up, right? That if you can start your day for the next week, and every time you wake up, you just get up and you just get going. First of all, that's an insane improvement over most of the world, because most of the world just gets up and they fucking go on their phone, right? But if you can get up and you can go do something, you could, it's taking a shower, brushing your teeth. Maybe it's going downstairs, getting some water, and then you sit at your table or whatever. You do some homework, you get on your PC, you aim train, whatever you're gonna do. But if you can just get up and start your day, it's an improvement already. So first thing you want to do is you want to get up once you wake up. Then, from there you take a shower. Okay, maybe after that you brush your teeth, right? Then you go make some breakfast, make some coffee. Then you go make a to-do list for yourself. You work out, you write down what you want to do, you write down what you have to get done. So you have 2 different categories for a to-do list, but I'm not really gonna go over a fucking to-do list.
Right.
You might wanna maybe you meditate in the morning. Maybe you sit there and you talk to your friend, you talk to your dad, maybe whatever. But you gotta get up and then you gotta start your day, and you can plan your day from there in sequences of events. It doesn't have to be the same every day. You don't have to have the same routine every single day. But as long as you have like a
As long as you
set
start
schedule,
moving.
as long as
You get up
just
in the
get
morning.
up.
That's where it starts. Yeah, 100%.
It is
That's
where
where
it
it starts. Just getting up, right? Like a lot of people, they do go on their phones. Above is not wrong there. A lot of people go on TikTok, they go on Instagram, and they care so much about maybe like a lot of. That's a big problem for a lot of people is they go on Twitter and they look at their followers, or maybe they look at their likes, or maybe you're somebody who likes looking at other people's lives for some reason when you're not trying to fix your own, right? So that's yeah, man. Like it all starts in the daily routines is just getting up, right? So now that's the advice. If you don't try waking up in the morning and you're not waking up early in the morning at 6 a.m., try getting, even whatever time you wake up, just try getting up in the morning and doing something that's going to benefit you throughout the entire day. That's going to help you. So now we're going to talk about actual daily routines for, if it's Kovacs, if it's Fortnite, if it's Valorant. So for those of you who are Fortnite players, this is going to be your segment right now. So I'll let Above take this over because he's more educated in the Fortnite scene. So Above, how would you start a daily routine for Fortnite, right? What would you tell somebody who's starting?
So first thing I would do in the morning, I would get up, I would take my shower, because most of you Fortnite kids don't shower. I would take my shower, I'd go to the bathroom, I'd take a shit, piss, whatever. Before the shower, obviously. I'm not a fucking Neanderthal. But then you brush your teeth, wash your hands, go downstairs. I would make me some fucking coffee, and then normally I wake up at like 4 in the morning is when I try to wake up. Sometimes it's 5:30, but that we don't talk about it. So once you wake up, you have a couple hours before school, before you have to go to your fucking Zoom classes, before you have to get on that bus, before you have to get in your mom's fucking car. So first, what you would probably want to do as a Fortnite player, you would probably want to aim train for 15 minutes, minimum 15 minutes. Nothing more than 30, but nothing less than 15. So you would aim train. You would get on your aim labs or your Kovacs. You'd look up some fucking guy's routine that you think is really good. Fortnite, is pretty tracking based, so I would recommend a tracking routine. Then you would do your fucking scenarios in Kovacs. You would do your tasks in aim labs or whatever, right? Then okay, I'm done aim training. Now what? Now you open the game. You hop on Discord, see if your buddies are in a call or something. If they're not, whatever. You hop on the game, you blast some music, you fucking play some arena. You play some arena, you play a scrim or two before school. And then after you've played a little bit of the game, you played some warm up and creative or whatever, you did your aim training, you go to school. Okay, done with school, come home. I would 100% recommend do your homework as soon as you get home from school. Because as soon as you get your homework done, I've been through the. Listen, I know how appealing it is to hop on my fucking PC and play some games for wasting my time after school. But here's the thing: if you do your homework as soon as you get home from school, you're not gonna have to you're not gonna have to dread the future. Like, oh man, I gotta do that fucking project, man. Or oh, I gotta do that fucking essay. Or my mom's gonna come in my room and yell at me because my homework's not done. That shit. So just get your homework done as soon as you get home from school. I would recommend maybe take a 20-minute break or something, But you get your homework done, then you can hop on your PC. You aim train again, just real quick, just 15 minutes, and then you hop in your creative. You 1v1 a buddy or something, and then you hop into scrims for a while, unless it's a tournament day. If it's a
6,
tournament
8
day,
hours maybe.
Yeah, yeah. If you're not playing scrims though, I would recommend that you're not improving. I think that you're not improving because if you're not playing scrims, there's no statistical way to see that you're improving. So I can't tell you are. And everyone that plays scrims, they improve. I guarantee it. If they play scrims correctly,
Yeah,
which I have a
I say
video
this.
coming out about how to play them correctly. But if you play scrims and you play them correctly, you're gonna get better.
Hmm. I say this to anybody, any analogy. Do you look at any pro, any pro? Honestly, you look at them. Did they get good playing 10,000 hours of creative, or did they get good playing 10,000 hours of scrims? Let's be honest. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the mechanics came from creative, but they probably only have 2K in creative, maybe like 6,000 in scrims. Like that's still a lot more ratio than creative. I mean, maybe less because not a lot of pros that's the common mistake is a lot of pros play creative on stream and they think the kids are like, yo, I gotta do this. This is how they get good.
Yo,
I gotta do
Mongo
this.
can quad edit, man. I gotta do that.
Yeah, I gotta get good at that. Like, no, you don't. That's not gonna get you good. Just play scrims. When you when you wake up, play 2 scrims, go to school. Then when you get home, play scrims, and after that, like above was saying, repeat the process. That's it. That's all it takes. Is just repeat the process, right? But make sure you prioritize school. Make sure you prioritize your life first before you think about making a career. So, I mean,
Right. You gotta know that you want it. If you have second guesses or you don't really want to go pro, it's just something that you could do, then I mean, don't go pro, man. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But you could still play the game for fun, but you have to play it strictly for fun. You're not. See, the thing is, I know a lot of people who have the one guy specifically. He quits the game every fucking season. I swear to God, he quits it every season, and then he comes back, and I tell him, what are you doing? And he's like, man, I'm going pro. I'm going fucking pro. 2 weeks later, he's doesn't get on the game for 4 or 5 days, and he's just not playing. I'm not gonna bother him about it anymore. It's not my life. But moral of the story, what he does is he has the motivation for like a couple weeks, and it's because he wanted to go pro because he saw some video where he was like really hyped him up, but he doesn't know how to keep it flowing because he doesn't really want it. He just wants it for the moment.
right.
So make sure you want to go pro before you try.
That's
Right?
your
So
daily
if you're not,
routines
you know,
for Fortnite.
exactly.
Just to repeat that process. Repeat the process. Be diligent. Be consistent. Make sure you want it. That's probably what sums it up.
True.
Now we're going to for your Valorant players. Your daily routines for your Valorant. Yo, what up, Valorant players, man? Your small group because most people are here from Fortnite. Maybe who knows? You actually probably might be from Valorant because more adults play Valorant than Fortnite. So Valorant's my subject. Valorant is nowhere near as close as Fortnite, and it is nowhere near as close as any other game, and it's probably close enough to CSGO, but it's going to surprise you to actually get good at the game. It's going to surprise you. You're going to be surprised. So, the way you play the game, or the way you get good at the game when you're playing your daily routine or you're practicing. Like, hey, Gabe, how do I practice? Hey, how do I get good at the game? You don't play the game. Believe it or not, you actually do not play CS:GO. You do not play Valorant. You learn the game. So yeah, you want to split the game into two specific zones, right? So you want to split the game into anything you do. You can split it into two zones practically. So the first zone is going to be your learning zone. This is this moment where, and I'm going to tell you something that is going to help you. So make sure you write it down or make sure you remember it, because this is the reason why you are not improving, right? So you are not utilizing information on the internet, right? So there are so many videos online that teach you how to hold A site bind, how to push A site bind, how to push B site bind, right? So they explain those things to you, how to set up as Killjoy, how to set up as Cypher, how to play Omen, right? So they teach you all these things, and you think you may not learn something. You will learn something. You will learn something new, because the people who are making these guides are Cypher one tricks who go in a practice tool all day and make one ways. So you don't have to make them. You watch the video and you know the one ways, right?
You learn the lineup.
You learn the lineups. You learn the smokes. You learn the brimstone smokes. You learn any character that you're playing. You want to be in the learning zone. That's the most of your gameplay, or most of the time you're playing Valorant, you're not actually playing it. You're in the learning zone. So this is your daily routine, right? This falls under it. And before I talk about the daily routine, I kind of got this mixed up. You want to go your performance zone. This is your performance zone. This is where you take the things you've learned from the learning zone and you put it into the performance zone. I'll probably make a video on this because it's a big subject. But those performance zone are gonna be your ranked games. So don't go into a ranked game blindsided. Don't go into a ranked game without aim training. Don't go into a ranked game without ever looking up an Omen setup or a Cypher setup. Don't go into a ranked game without knowing how to actually play Cypher on attacking side, because there's so many problems that people have where they play Jets good on attacking but bad on defense because they don't know how to play Jet defensively. They only know how to push. So that's a big problem. Learn your character. Limit your champion pool to 3 characters. Simple things like that are going to help you. But now we're just going to talk about daily routines for the Valorant players what should I do in the morning? When I wake up, what should I focus on? So when you wake up, obviously you want to do your actual daily routine, which we obviously talked about before in the beginning subject of daily routines, meaning, wake up, meditate, take a shower, brush your teeth, do your hair, because that's going to get you steamrolling for the day. And then after that, you take an hour, you hop on your PC, and the first thing you want to do, or it could be the last thing you do at the end of the day, is you want to aim train, right? So you definitely want to, but not to practice, to warm up. So maybe your average score is 80K on Grid Shard. Maybe your average score is 110 on Tile Frenzy. Whatever it is, make sure you're at that average score. Make sure you're at the consistent score that you can hit. If you're looking to break it, then maybe you want to play an extra little bit of time. Go for it, right? Nobody's stopping you, but make sure you have that time. Make sure you're not doing anything and you don't want to grind all day. But that's what it is. You want to wake up. You want to play your aim labs. You want to do your little aim routine. That's what it is. And then before you even play the game, you want to learn something new, which is kind of weird. Like I said, you don't actually want to play the game to get good at the game. You want to learn something new. You want to write it down, make sure you process the information, and you use the YouTube method. If you don't know something, look it up on Valorant. How do I pop flashes Phoenix? How do I attack on Phoenix? Anything, whatever it is. Make sure you learn that, and then after that, make sure you learn the setups, learn the smokes, learn how to play your position to the best of your capability, because before you even talk about flaming your teammates in elo hell, you want to be able to play your spot as best as you can. Then you can blame your teammates. I wouldn't even blame you if you wanted to blame your teammates. Just letting you know, that's a bad mindset. But as long as you, and the reason why I can say you can flame your teammates if you can play the best of your position, because 99% of the time, if you're playing your position perfectly, you're going to win every single game. So if you're, that's what I mean. So I'm kind of tricking you here. You're never going to play your position correctly. I'm going to VOD your gameplay, and you're going to do something wrong that you didn't see that's holding you back. So just keep that in mind.
We're going to find 100,000 million mistakes in your fucking gameplay every time.
Every time. You could do that with anything. So you just don't look for perfection. It's a process. It's a curve. But when you wake up, aim train, study as in you know what I mean. I explained it, what studying is. And then you want to play your games. You want to play maybe 4 to 5 games at the end of the day. And then you repeat. You actually do not want to spend a lot of time in CSGO. You want to spend a lot more time, not CSGO, but Valorant. Sorry, I get this confused. You want to spend more time in Valorant studying than you do actually playing the game. Because you're not going to, you are going to get good playing the game, but you're not going to get good by not knowing anything new coming into the game. So learn its zone and performance zone. I'll explain it more into detail, but that pretty much sums up the daily routine. And now for the end of the video, we're going to take it over to above, because he knows a lot about adequate sleep, and he knows this is going to be your sleeping schedules, which may fall under daily routine, and he's going to explain them all while I be right back. So above, take it away.
All right. So basically, here's 4 main sleep schedules that you would probably, or sleep cycles that I would recommend that some people use, some people shouldn't use them. But first of all, you have to understand what sleep cycle you are most comfortable with and what suits your life the best. So, if you have this really shit sleep schedule that some people have, I have sometimes, where I'm fucking awake at night and fucking have to sleep right after school, it's not that bad, man. It's not that bad, but you have to understand what it's for. Like if you have it's called the Polygon sleep schedule, I believe, and it is about taking 2 naps a day, or two, you go to sleep twice a day, and one is about, I would say, like in the afternoon, like right after school, like right after, like 2 in the afternoon, 3 in the afternoon. Then you wake up at like what, 6 or 7, and then you're up for a couple hours doing some work or playing some games or something. And then after that, it's 11 o'clock, it's 12 o'clock, you go to sleep, you wake up at 4 in the morning. And then when you wake up at 4 in the morning, that you get on your PC, you get on fucking, you go take your shower, you go fucking play scrims, you go aim train, you go do whatever, right? So that's one type of sleeping, but that's what I do. It's not super good, but it can be helpful if you have a good work ethic. But the standard sleep cycle, right? It's what most people do. It's where you're up all day, you go to sleep at night. You're awake from fucking what, 7 or 6 in the morning, and then you go to sleep at 11, 9, whatever the fuck you go to sleep at, right? But like 7 to 9 hours a night. There's a lot of pros, there's a lot of cons to both, to every kind of sleep cycle. But some pros are, it's the most convenient, and it's very flexible for your sleeping and waking hours. You don't have any risk of sleep deprivation. It's best suited to people that are adhered to regular working hours, or people that don't allow time for naps or going to sleep in the middle of the day or whatever. But it requires a large amount of overall time, and it's inconvenient for a lot of people who want to be up, or who want to do things, or doctors, they're on call fucking all the time, so they have to it's inconvenient for them. So there's alternative sleep cycles, though. There's the biphasic sleep cycle, which is when, this is basically what I do. So it's 5 to 6 hours a night, right? And then one nap in the middle of the day. That's not bad. I like that one. But it's basically, there's pros. I'll just list the pros and the cons for each one. I'll describe it and then list them. So the pros are, it helps you have more cognitive ability. So you're a little bit more aware of the things you're doing, because you're not keeping yourself up all the time, so you're not drained all the time. And if you do it regularly, naps can improve your cardiovascular health, and that also reduces stress, which is interesting, very interesting. And it boosts you for like days when you're tired, you're running low on batteries, you're fucking you're a little hard at playing games 24 hours a day, or it's a little difficult for you to go to work and then come back and still do something, right? But the cons are, people can have worsening sleep issues if they continuously do this and they don't set a schedule. So if you're setting a schedule, like, okay, right at 2 o'clock I'm going to sleep, and then I'm waking up at 7, or I'm waking up at 9, or maybe this is your 5 to 6 hours, right? So maybe you're gonna wake up at fucking 8 or 10, right? But if you're not fucking doing it properly, then you're gonna fuck yourself over. You're gonna actually make your sleep cycle way worse than it was already than it was. So people living in like um big areas, like big cities and shit, I would not recommend a biphasic sleep schedule because it's not super helpful. It's more for those people that know what they want to do when they get up. They have their plans. Sorry about that. Got a call. Um, here's the this is the everyman sleep cycle, or the one that some people use. Not many people use this, but I've heard a couple people. They basically they sleep for 4 hours a day, and then they take like 2 or 3 20-minute naps. It's like pretty difficult for a lot of people to actually take naps that short, but that's basically what it is. The pros are basically you have longer waking hours than most other ones. So, what does that mean? Longer waking hours. That means you can wake up for whenever the fuck you want. But there's not many, like, so other pros are like naps are brief, only 20 minutes long, so you have a lot of time on your hands. Like, if you have a lunch break for school or something, you just take a little nap, you're recharged. They're super flexible. So that's a very, very flexible schedule. But it's hard because you're napping during the daytime. You if you don't nap during the daytime, you sleep for 4 hours. Like, what the fuck? That's not good for you, man. And then here's another one that I've never heard anyone been using in my life, but it's called the Dymaxion cycle, which is four or five 30-minute naps and like 2 hours sleep total during the night. And then it's weird because there's some pros, but they're pretty weird. They're like, you can adhere to any schedule. You can have fucking 6 hours of just being awake, and it requires 4 naps though. That's a lot of time, man. It's a lot. That's 4 naps. Like, if you feel like you can go to sleep and wake up whenever you want, and you just set your fucking phone alarm and you wake up, good for you. But this is probably a very good schedule for you, actually, because there's only four naps. So you just take 30-minute nap. Okay, I'm in between classes right now. Gonna go take a nap. Or okay, I'm during lunch right now. Gonna go take a nap. Oh, school just ended. I'm gonna go take a nap now. That's already three, and you squeeze another one in. But there's a lot more cons. It's extremely difficult to get this cycle going, and it's really hard because a lot of the times you'll sleep for longer than 30 minutes, which is super inconvenient, and it's just stupid. And the last one is just like ridiculous. I would not recommend this to anyone, but it's when you sleep six or seven naps a day, I believe, each lasting like 20 to 30 minutes. But it's so dumb, like it's so bad for you because you cannot, like, if you fucking end up sleeping for a little bit more than you should, you just fucked your whole day, and you're gonna feel tired a lot of the time, and because you never hit REM sleep, which is super important for your brain, for your heart. You need to hit that REM sleep. So if you don't, then that's fucked. It fucks your brain, it fucks your heart. It's not good for you. So I would not recommend that to anyone, but it exists. So that's basically the 4 sleep cycles that people use. So yeah, those are I mean, they're pretty decent. Some of them are good. I would highly recommend the biphasic to a lot of people, though.
Mm-hmm. That one sounded pretty
very
good.
helpful.
Yeah, I would agree with that one. The midday naps, a lot of people like that sets you up for practically 2 days in a row. So you'd wake up, do something that you like to do. I mean, not like to do something that helps you out with your day, whatever it is, and then take a nap and restart that cycle twice in a row. So that twice in one day, and you do that, seven. So you're practically having 14 days. You're mimicking like a 14-day out of a 1 week schedule. So that's pretty cool. I would recommend the whatever. What's it called?
Biphasic.
Biphasic. I would recommend that. I've done it a couple times, believe it or not, unintentionally, where I take midday naps, and I get a lot done in those days, to be completely honest with you. So I would recommend that one, yeah. But dude, this is gonna be the outro now. It has been episode 3 of the Hypothetically podcast. Many more to come. Make sure to check out our socials. Links in the description. Please, it would help us a lot. Drop a like, maybe. Drop a sub. Who knows? You don't have to if you don't want to. 99% of our viewers are not subbed. so yeah. That's gonna wrap up the third episode. Hopefully I'm gonna get this out before 12 p.m. It is currently 11:08 p.m. So we're gonna many more episodes to come. Above coming up a little bit late on the podcast.
I got videos coming out and shit. I'm doing that, man.
Okay.
Check out my channel for those. Be on the lookout.
100%,
I got some
100%.
nice videos for you guys. I got some really nice ones for you Fortnite players out there.
But yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up. We'll see you guys later. Catch you in the next episode. Peace.